pushing and pulling over several decades.
오늘은 대한민국 임시정부를 이끌었던 김구 선생님의 백범일지를 살펴볼 거예요. 그분이 평생을 바쳐 지키려 했던
한없이 가지고 싶은 것은 높은 문화의 힘입니다. 문화의 힘은 우리 자신을 행복하게 하고 나아가서 남에게 행복을 주기 때문입니다. 나는 우리나라가 세계에서 가장 아름다운 나라가 되기를 원합니다.
For thousands of years, one breath has endured. More than a martial art, it is the Korean way of life. Taekwondo, connecting the world. Smarter than ever, Taekwondo leaps toward a new future, connecting the world through a single movement. The spirit of Korea meets the boundless energy of K-pop. No longer just a sport, Taekwondo is at the heart of K-culture, bringing Korea's spirit to the world. A beautiful culture, connecting heart to heart. We now strive to safeguard Taekwondo's community training culture as a treasured heritage for all humanity. The pride of Korea, Taekwondo.
Hello and welcome to our morning edition of Arirang News. We begin with these stories making the headlines at this hour. The United States has newly imposed 15% tariffs as well as price floors on imported polysilicon, a key material used in semiconductors and solar panels. President Donald Trump signed the order, saying the U.S. reliance on foreign supplies threatens national security. And the U.S. leader also says he believes the war with Iran could be over soon. while dismissing reports that Washington is suffering a munition shortage. Meanwhile, as Iran and Oman continue talks on shipping through the Strait of Hormuz, Iranian media have said that a potential deal would replace the waterway's existing northern and southern shipping lanes with a centrally managed corridor. South Korea continues to swelter under a record-breaking heat wave, with temperatures expected to soar to as high as 39 degrees Celsius in parts of the country today, including the capital region. The extreme temperatures are also disrupting professional sports, with the Korea Baseball Organization canceling all remaining games this week. We begin this morning in the United States, where President Donald Trump has signed an executive order imposing new tariffs and setting minimum import prices on polysilicon-related products. The measures are aimed at curbing low-cost imports while strengthening domestic supply chains for chip production. Our Park Won-woo starts us off.
A 15% tariff on products derived from polysilicon, a key material for semiconductors and solar panels, will be put into effect by the U.S. on December 4th. That comes after U.S. President Donald Trump signed a proclamation on Thursday local time, saying the measure was necessary to ensure that imports of polysilicon and its derivatives do not threaten the country's national security.
This is a series of trade and tariff actions under Section 232 intended to ensure that domestic polysilicon manufacturing is properly supported and protected from overseas dumping and offshore threats.
Section 232 of the Trade Expansion Act gives the U.S. president the authority to restrict imports through tariffs or other measures if they're deemed a threat to national security. Thursday's measure also sets minimum import prices at $21 per kilogram for polysilicon and $100 per kilogram for polysilicon ingots and wafers, aimed at preventing dumping of low-cost imports while protecting U.S. producers. The measures also cover products used in the solar industry, as Washington seeks to strengthen the domestic solar supply chain that has long relied heavily on foreign production. Trump said the measures would also help bring chip manufacturing back to the U.S.
We'll have a big percentage of the chip business by the time I leave office, and we're bringing the chip business back into the United States in a very big way.
The order also includes incentives to encourage U.S. production of polysilicon and its derivatives, while authorizing the Commerce Secretary to make company-specific deals to promote such investments. Companies with approved plans to expand production in the U.S. may also receive tariff exemptions on some equipment and materials needed for their investments. While the tariffs will not take effect immediately, the administration says it'll restrict imports by companies found to be stockpiling polysilicon or its derivatives ahead of their implementation. Park Won-woo, Arirang News.
And the U.S. president also says he believes the war with Iran could soon be over, as questions mount over American weapons supplies. Meanwhile, Iran and Oman are reportedly discussing a new framework to manage shipping and maritime fees through the Strait of Hormuz. Our Lee Seung-jae reports.
U.S. President Donald Trump says he believes the war with Iran could be over soon as questions grow over American weapons supplies and negotiations continue over shipping through the Strait of Hormuz.
And we'll see those days pretty soon again, based on everything I see, as soon as the war ends. And I think it's going to end pretty soon. I don't think they can go much longer. Yeah.
Speaking to reporters Thursday, Trump also acknowledged that the U.S. military has faced supply issues with some weapons, but has an unlimited supply of most ammunition.
Now, we have certain types of munitions that are very powerful. That we have unlimited, virtual unlimited supply. We have others where it's a little bit tighter, and we're getting them in on a daily basis.
His comments come after Reuters reported that the U.S. Army had used much of its global stockpile of highly accurate, long-range missiles during the 5-month conflict with Iran. Trump also threatened to seek long prison sentences for anyone found responsible for leaking sensitive information about U.S. weapons supplies. Meanwhile, Iran and Oman are reportedly discussing a new framework for managing commercial shipping through the Strait of Hormuz. According to a source at Iran's foreign ministry, cited by the semi-official Fars news agency, the proposal would eventually replace the strait's existing northern and southern shipping lanes with a centrally managed corridor. During an initial transition, ships would enter through the northern lane near Iran and exit through the southern lane near Oman. Eventually, all vessels would use a central shipping lane, with inbound traffic managed by Iran and outbound traffic jointly managed by Iran and Oman. Ships would also be required to pay fees for maritime services, including insurance, fueling, and environmental protection. The Iranian source denied reports that Tehran and Muscat are considering fees equal to 3 or 7% of a ship's cargo value. Instead, charges would vary depending on the services provided. The Strait of Hormuz remains one of the world's most important energy routes, making any agreement over its operation closely watched by global oil markets. 이승재, Arirang News.
Here in South Korea, as Seoul swelters under relentless heat, residents are finding relief along the Hangang River, where riverside camping is becoming a popular summer escape. Our Hong Seo-jung was there.
Amid a gentle summer breeze, tents are set up beneath the trees. With sweeping views of the Hangang River, visitors relax in the shade, enjoying a peaceful escape from the heat. Families with children, couples, and foreign tourists have gathered at Yeouido Hangang Park for some camping in the heart of the city.
It's great for active kids to be out in nature. And having a place like this close to home, where we can enjoy the Hangang River, is really a great way to unwind.
Usually, camping overnight is not allowed along the river, but this summer, the city has designated special zones for camping at 4 riverside parks. Running from 5 p.m. to 9 a.m. the next day, the campsites are available free of charge through a reservation-only system with space limited to 100 camping spots per site. Visitors can bring their own tents or rent them on site. QR codes are also available to help foreign visitors easily place food delivery orders. Just a short walk away, swimming pools along the river stay open till 10 p.m. and offer another refreshing escape from the heat. Food stalls by the pool sell food such as ramen and roasted chicken and a range of beverages, while visitors can enjoy the pool at an affordable price.
The entrance fee is really reasonable at only 5,000 won. Going to a beach can be a bit of a hassle, but this place is nearby, so it's much more convenient.
As night falls, visitors order food that's delivered to a nearby delivery zone. With lights coming on, the campsite takes on a romantic atmosphere, allowing campers to relax and enjoy a peaceful evening. Meanwhile, the swimming pool comes alive after dark, with DJ performances on Fridays and weekends setting the mood as visitors soak up the energy of the summer night.
Once I got in the water and got back out, I definitely cooled down. It felt really refreshing.
At the heart of the city, this urban summer getaway that offers camping and swimming facilities will stay open throughout August. Hong Seo-jung, Arirang News.
So South Korea continues to swelter under record-breaking heat, with some parts of the country climbing above 40 degrees Celsius this week. For more on this, we're joined today by Professor Yoon Jin-ho, professor at the School of Earth Sciences and Environmental Engineering at Gwangju Institute of Science and Technology. Professor Yoon, thanks for coming on today.
Thanks for having me.
So I don't think I've ever experienced Seoul this hot before. Some parts of the country recorded their highest ever temperature this week. Why has this year been so hot, and what's driving this record-breaking heat wave? And from a scientist's point of view, was a heat wave like this something you saw coming?
Well, this summer's the heat wave and it's unprecedented, and it's driven by those very large-scale atmospheric circulations. The temperature in Korea during summertime is depending on how high or how strong the high-pressure system is over the Korean peninsula. But this year happens to be that the North Pacific high, which I believe you heard, and then the Tibetan high, which is supposed to be a bit away from Korean peninsula, but it just happens to be both got extended and it covers over the South Korea. So that we becomes in a way like a hotspot for those high pressure. That means is the temperature in Korea is getting very, very high, and we have a heat wave, tropical nights, and so on like that. From a scientific perspective, let's just rewind the time back to maybe 10 years. Around the time when the temperature is above 35 degrees, the daily maximum temperature above 35 was something, and we talked about, in the news like this. But now we are talking about temperature above 40 and 38, 39. But just think about our body temperature. The normal body temperature is 36, 37. But then when you go outside, the temperature of the air is higher than that. So we are getting into some sort of a regime that we haven't experienced. So meaning that we are getting into some kind of new territory of the summer climate. And this likely to become a normal in the coming years. So that's something we worry about.
Right, that sounds very concerning. And today is Ipchu, which is traditionally marks the beginning of autumn. When do you think we'll finally start to feel a break from this extreme heat?
Well, sorry to tell you that, but likely till like next week, we are going to experience this sort of a heat. But the peak may be around early next week. But then around the Marbo, which is 14th of this month, and then in the middle of August is the 15th. So climatologically and seasonally, after August 15, we see that the summer is a start to retreat, and hopefully the fall will come in. That's likely the scenario for this year. So until like next week, we are experiencing heat wave, but the peak may be at maybe early part of the next week. But then when the next week after the August 18th or the 15th, sorry, then we may start to feel that we may get some sort of break from the heat wave, and we are getting into fall seasons.
Right, and like you just said, a lot of experts say extreme heat could become the new normal. Now, next summer could be even hotter than this year. How concerned should we be about that?
I just mentioned earlier, 10 years ago, we talked about in the news when the temperature is above 35. But now, this year, we are talking about 38 and 40 degrees, 41 degrees, like that. So the global warmings make it such a way that the mean or the normal, the bar has to be just go up quite a bit. So even the summer is not this hot, this warm, hotter, but we are still experiencing maybe 35, 36. So and then if you count the extreme hot summers, that all comes down to last 10 years, last 15 years. And within that range, we are seeing the hottest summers, top 10 or top 5 or something like that. So we are getting into something new. We just have to prepare to reduce the health risk and so on like that.
Right, absolutely. All right, Professor Yoon, I'm afraid that's all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for coming on today. We appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
South Korea set a new record for its current account surplus in June as goods exports broke through the $100 billion mark. Our EGN reports.
Korea posted a record-breaking current account surplus in June, setting a new high for the second month in a row. According to the Bank of Korea on Thursday, the surplus reached $49.73 billion. This marks the second consecutive month of record-breaking on-month surpluses, surpassing the previous record of $38.61 billion set in May. The cumulative current account surplus for the first half of the year reached $191 billion, nearly 4 times that recorded during the same period last year. The goods account balance reached a record high surplus of nearly $48 billion, also surpassing the previous record set just a month earlier in May. Exports surged nearly 85% year-on-year to $112.4 billion, marking the first time monthly goods exports have ever exceeded the $100 billion mark. Semiconductors and information technology products sustained their high exports growth.
Driven by an unprecedented boom in semiconductor exports, the expansion of the goods trade surplus accounts for the majority of the increase in the current account balance.
Meanwhile, the service account recorded a deficit of $1.29 billion. However, driven by an increase in foreign tourists, the travel account managed to post a surplus of $440 million.
As the number of foreign visitors surpassed 10 million in the first half for the first time, travel revenues in June hit an all-time high, and total travel receipts for the first half also set a new record for any first-half period.
As Korea's current account continues its strong momentum throughout the year, authorities had previously set the full-year surplus target at $250 billion. Given that the first half total has already hit $191 billion, officials said the full-year forecast will likely be revised upward. Lee Ju-yeon, Arirang News.
The Korea Baseball Organization has canceled all remaining games this week as an unprecedented heat wave continues to grip the country. The decision came after an emergency meeting on Thursday involving league officials, all 10 clubs, and the Players Association. The KBO had already canceled Wednesday and Thursday's games before suspending the entire weekend schedule. The regular season will resume next Tuesday. Until further notice, all weekday and weekend games will start an hour later at 7 p.m. to reduce exposure to the extreme heat. The only exception is Seoul's Gocheok Skydome, an indoor venue, where Saturday games will remain at 6 p.m., while Sunday games may start at 2 p.m., depending on the broadcast schedule. A veteran beekeeper in South Korea has spent nearly 5 decades following the seasons with his hives. But these days, climate change is throwing his entire operation off course. Our Kim Sa-young tells us more.
Now 65, Park runs a migratory beekeeping farm, moving his hives from region to region to follow the seasonal blooms across the country. His bees don't just make honey. They're essential pollinators for crops nationwide.
Now, because of climate change, it is very hard for beekeepers to survive. In the past, there were big climate differences between the southern and central regions. But now, because of global warming, flowers seem to bloom all at once nationwide.
Rising temperatures mean flowers are blooming earlier and for shorter windows than they used to. Park once planned his beekeeping trips around that bloom calendar. Now, with flowers opening prematurely, he's had to cut those trips in half, and his harvest has suffered as a result.
The honeycomb should be completely full, but compared to previous years, there isn't as much honey. Our harvest is down by about 50%.
According to the Ministry of Agriculture, the number of hives dropped 14% between 2014 and 2023, a decline that threatens far more than just the honey supply. Yeo Seung-woo, a professor of climate and energy systems engineering at Ewha Women's University, warns that without bees to pollinate crops, farming itself could be at risk.
The destruction of the bee population is in many ways one of the greatest threats to humanity. We may not feel it right now, but it could be the most serious problem of all.
In response, the South Korean government says it will invest $32 million through 2030 in research to help restore bee health. Welcome news for beekeepers like Park. Kim Sa-young, Arirang News.
Good morning, I'm Chu Ji-hyun, and this is The World Now. In the United States, President Donald Trump has signed 2 executive orders limiting birthright citizenship. The executive orders on Thursday come just weeks after the Supreme Court struck down his first attempt. They target what the White House calls, quote, birth tourism. foreigners traveling to the United States to give birth so their babies can become U.S. citizens. An aide said at Thursday's signing that the practice is now banned. They also limit citizenship for children of foreign government employees. Trump called the Supreme Court's 6-3 decision a, quote, disgrace, and said people are building businesses around birthright citizenship. Executive orders set policy but do not carry the force of law, and these are expected to be challenged in court. In Yemen, at least 30 government soldiers have been killed in attacks on military camps on Thursday. The Houthi movement says it fired the missiles and drones and that military vehicles and weapons depots were destroyed. The Iran-aligned Houthis say they hit Saudi troop positions in Marib and Hadramaut provinces and claim hundreds of Saudi-aligned fighters were killed or wounded. Officials say the death toll may rise. In Europe, football's governing body UEFA says it could still boycott FIFA competitions, including the World Cup. It says FIFA's defense of President Gianni Infantino, quote, changes nothing. The English Football Association has also written to withdraw its support for the FIFA president. This follows Infantino's plan to sell stakes in FIFA's tournaments to private investors. FIFA has dropped the plan and apologized, but UEFA says its conditions have not been met. Infantino faces re-election in March. Kazakhstan has released a tiger into the wild as part of a reintroduction project, giving the country its first wild tiger in more than 70 years. An adult female Amur tiger named Umit, meaning hope, was released on July 31st into a nature reserve near Lake Balkhash. She is one of 4 tigers brought from Russia in May. The long-term goal is to establish a breeding population back in the wild.
Today marks Ipchu, the traditional beginning of autumn, but it's not going to feel anything like autumn. Instead, we'll see the peak of this summer's historic heat wave with an expected high of 39 degrees Celsius here in the capital. So please avoid outdoor activities during the hottest hours and drink plenty of water. Our body loses large amounts of water through sweating to cool itself down. Seoul seems to be one of the hottest places in the nation, while Chuncheon and Gwangju will make it to 38 degrees. Daejeon, Daegu will be topping out at 37 degrees Celsius. Meanwhile, Typhoon Dolphin will make landfall in southern China early next week. Although it won't directly affect the peninsula, rough seas are expected around Jeju and the South Sea, bringing heavy showers through the weekend for the East Coast and Jeju Island. So for those of you having summer vacation in those areas, stay safe, while this change in weather system will start to ease life-threatening heat.
Now that's all we have for this morning. Arirang News will be back at noon Korea time. Thanks for watching.
For thousands of years, one breath has endured. More than a martial art, it is the Korean way of life. Taekwondo, connecting the world. Smarter than ever, Taekwondo leaps toward a new future, connecting the world through a single movement. The spirit of Korea meets the boundless energy of K-pop. No longer just a sport, Taekwondo is at the heart of K-culture, bringing Korea's spirit to the world. A beautiful culture, connecting heart to heart. We now strive to safeguard Taekwondo's community training culture as a treasured heritage for all humanity. The pride of Korea, Taekwondo.
Let's go! Simply K-pop! Simply K-pop is time to get up close and personal with artists' beauty and styling. Beauty camp.
올 블랙으로 맞춘 게 약간 포인트인 것 같은데.
Oh, yeah, you look like a model.
I wear very baggy kind of street look. 갸루 스타일 한번
Alright.
보고 싶어요.
일기장에 꼭 남기고 싶은 무대들입니다. Let's go check them out. Music start.
If I'm down, would you love it? Turn it cloud. If the bug is speed it out. If you want it, if you're down with it. Try not around all the guy lady. I'm letting you wish the family is so baby. So high, baby. You're so high, baby. Shawty got no next time, do it now, baby. I'ma try not around all the guy, yeah. I'm letting you wish the family is so baby.
Then this week's Simply K-pop. Don't miss out.
We're here to bring a new type of news show.
New insights, new styles, and new topics every day.
We are News Generation.
Bringing news just for you. It's Friday, August 7th here in Seoul. I'm Isujin, and this is News Generation. Joining us today is Kyun.
Thanks for having me. Yay, happy Friday.
Happy Friday, and also Wonmin's with us.
Hello, happy Friday.
Good to have you, and both are here to speak on behalf of people in their 20s and 30s. So we finally reached everyone's favorite day of the week, Friday, and with weather like this, it may not be easy to get outside and get moving, but it's still one of the best ways to recharge after a busy week. In fact, more and more people are taking up running, whether it's for fitness, stress relief, or simply to enjoy the outdoors. So, Kyun, let me ask you, I don't think I need to ask you this, but do you enjoy running?
As you can see, yes, I do. I've said this many times on air before. I actually picked up the real fun in running not too long ago. In fact, I actually went for a 5K run again last night. Got soaked in sweat, but it felt quite good for some reason. And I think that's one of the many reasons why people actually go for a run, because of that kind of feeling after you run. Like when you're soaked in sweat, you feel great.
The accomplishment,
The accomplishment as well. But for someone who plays soccer at a young age, I'm actually quite into cardio. But there was a brief moment in my life where I was actually into going to the gym, lifting weights, kind of like Wonmin. But that didn't last very long, as you can see, as you can tell. Anyway, the real trend is right now, like joining running crews, running in groups, or just participating in marathon events. But for me personally, I just generally like running on my own, at my own pace, just kind of with the goal of just becoming fit and staying in good shape rather than kind of socializing at the same time. So I'm a little different to the Gen Zs.
A lone alpha wolf.
The lone alpha wolf, as Wonmin says.
What's the best part of running on your own?
Like I said, you can run at your own pace, but when you run with another group, you have to keep with that pace, within that pace. And for me, sometimes I can feel good, I can run faster. On days when I feel a little, I get not that great, I would actually slow down. But when you're running groups, you have to keep with a leader.
There are things to consider.
And things to consider as well. And like you have to kind of dress up as well. With a lot of Koreans do that as well. I just wear whatever I want.
More free.
And feel comfortable.
I mean, considering that Korea has, it's under a heat wave, the fact that you're still running, I think just proves, I'm like really amazed that you're still running in this
I'm trying
weather.
to beat the heat by meeting it face on.
Wow, okay. So what about you, Wonmin?
I've never seen Kyun this excited. Running. Yeah, so I mean, I like running too, not as much as Kyun, but I'm always open to new outdoor activities, and running is one of the easiest, most simplest outdoor sports that you can start or you can try. And because it's really easy once you find your own pace, and there's relatively low risk of injury as long as you're running in moderation, unless you're not running too fast or too long. It doesn't need much equipment. You just need your body and your shoes and a bottle of water. And it's, as Kyun said, it's also very refreshing once you're done. And nowadays, I can't run as much as before because of my back pain. But even now, every week or every 2 weeks, I go out for a mild run for the refreshing feeling. Yeah.
Right, so running really is one of those activities that's easy to pick up and doesn't require much beyond a good pair of shoes. So we're going to talk more about this, but first, let's take a look at the screen. Korea is known around the world for its K-pop, delicious food, and rich culture. But there's another reason more and more visitors are coming to Korea these days, and involves lacing up a pair of running shoes. Scenic running routes that pass by some of the country's most iconic landmarks are quickly becoming a popular way for tourists to experience Korea. So today on News Generation, we explore why foreign visitors are choosing to go for a run in Korea, the best ways to enjoy Korea's growing running culture, and what you should know before hitting the trail. Just as we saw in a video, running is becoming much more than a way to stay fit. It's now becoming a whole new way to experience Korea. It's a trend that's turning sightseeing into an active adventure. So how did Korea become such a big destination for runners from all over the world, Hugh?
Like we already know, running has become a global trend, especially among millennials and Gen Zs, and that buzz is actually spreading here in Korea, attracting a growing number of international visitors who actually come here specifically to run. So the trend has even given rise to a run trip tourism package that combines sightseeing with jogging through the city of Seoul. Now, some of the most popular routes include a central Seoul course covering Gwanghwamun, Samcheongdong, Cheonggyecheon Stream, the Blue House, and the Gyeongbokgung Palace. Now, other favorites include the Gangnam route through Cheongdam-dong and COEX Mall, as well as the course linking the Han River Park with the trendy Seongsu-dong district. Now, all the places I have mentioned are spots tourists are quite familiar with, but by integrating outdoor running within these areas gives that extra wellness vibe to traveling, which many young people are seeking more and more these days.
So it is fascinating to see running routes becoming tourist attractions in their own right, and the numbers suggest this is more than just a passing trend. So how much has interest in running in Korea actually grown?
Well, so to give some exact numbers, one travel app recently saw a 50% jump in run trip packages in Korea. The Korea Tourism Organization also reported about 3,000 social media mentions in the first quarter of the year, which is a massive 200% spike compared to 2 years ago. It seems running is no longer just a fun hobby or an experience, but it's actually becoming a huge reason to travel. On top of that, more and more foreigners, international runners, are signing up for running events in Seoul. Just last month at Duksan Park Festival, the number of foreign runners, shot up 13 times compared to just 2 years ago. So there's a big jump.
Right, so those figures really show that people are planning entire trips around running. So what exactly makes running, specifically in Korea, so appealing to so many people here?
I think the biggest appeal to international travelers was having such a clean running course along the Hangang River Park, flowing right through the big city like Seoul. Like those who have been to any Hangang River parks would know exactly what I'm talking about in terms of cleanliness and the maintenance. Now, you get to see the heart of Seoul while you run, including seeing landmarks like the N Seoul Tower and the Lotte Tower, including all the different bridges that connect the Han River, actually, and the small to big mountains that you would actually normally go to see for sightseeing. Now, also, we can't leave out the convenience when we talk about Korea. Accessibility is probably the biggest part of running in the city of Seoul. You can get to most of the trending running routes like Gyeongbokgung Palace and the Seoul City Wall within 1 or 2 bus or subway rides from wherever you're staying in Seoul. So basically, you're having fun and staying fit at the same time while traveling. So 2-in-1.
What more can you want? So it really is a unique mix. You can run past a royal palace along a river and finish with a mountain view all in one day. But the scenery isn't the only thing earning praise from overseas runners. So besides the scenery that we just talked about, what else do foreign runners love about Korea?
Yeah, so there's the beautiful scene and it's also very clean. But on top of that, a lot of foreigners give a very high score for the safety, for how safe it is. Seoul and any other cities in Korea is very safe that anyone, including kids, students, and women, so that they can run even at dark nights or even early in the morning. Plus, the paths around the Han River and the Han River Park are very well lit. So there's no reason, you don't have to worry about the darkness or running in the dark, even at late times. It actually gets brought up a lot on social media as one of the few countries where you can go running at any time, 24/7, whenever you want, wherever you want. Yeah.
And I can imagine that's such an even bigger perk now because the weather is so hot. So that's definitely something many locals may take for granted, but it really is a huge advantage for many visitors. So we were also curious what our viewers thought about this, so about this Seoul's best running spot. So we asked our viewers on Arirang News YouTube channel, if you could go for a run anywhere in Seoul, where would you choose? And here's what the results showed. The Han River was the overwhelming favorite, earning 68% of the vote, and 17% chose Seoul mountains, including Namsan, Bukhansan, and Cheonggyecheon, while 10% wanted to run past the city's houses and fortress walls, and just 5% picked the city's skyscraper-lined streets. Right, so the results were quite interesting. I think we saw some of the most important parts that we talked about. And no surprise there, obviously, the Han River has become Seoul's iconic destination thanks to its, we talked about the scenic waterfront views, extensive running paths, and easy accessibility for both locals and visitors. And now, to get a runner's perspective on this, we'll be speaking with an avid runner who has taken part in races around the world. And that conversation is coming up right after break, so stay with us.
NewsGen wants to hear from you. Go to YouTube and search out Channel Arirang News. Click Posts and cast your vote in the poll. Make a new type of news with us.
We're joined now by Celia, an experienced runner from Paris who's now based in Seoul. And alongside her work as a beauty and sportswear model, she's an active member of Seoul's running community and has raced in Seoul, Shanghai, and Guam. So hello, Celia. Thank you so much for connecting with us today.
My pleasure. Hi.
Hi, good to see you. So Celia, how often do you go running, and what's your favorite place to run here in Korea?
Well, I have to say that I run, I would say, 4 to 5 times a week. If I have to train for an event, for example, for a marathon coming up, then it might be more. And sometimes I have events with my crew, so that depends. But I would say my favorite courses in Korea, and especially in Seoul, it's definitely by the Han River. The Han River is the scenery is so beautiful. And one of my favorites as well is the Yangtze stream. I've had the chance to run there in spring by the cherry blossom, and I have to say that it's one of my favorite runs ever. And if I have to go a little bit harder and try and train, then I would definitely go to Namsan. The course is hard, but it's very, very effective for training.
Well, I should definitely start training with you. By the way, I like the words in your background, champion, you got this. By the way, how would you compare Korea's running courses with those abroad, and what are the biggest advantages and maybe some drawbacks?
So I've seen many different courses, but I have to say in Korea, courses are probably my favorite because it's very clean. At night, it's very well lit. Maintenance is incredible, and I don't have to worry about finding water stations nor finding toilets on my way. Everything is very convenient for runners. It's very straightforward. There's a lot of colors on the ground, so you can follow your path, and I think that's something that I struggled with abroad, so that's definitely an advantage for me, and I think that's the biggest one. When it comes to drawbacks, I would say the weather these days is hard. The weather is very, very difficult to deal with. I would say in summer, it's very, very hot, and then in winter, it gets very, very cold. So you have to power through the seasons. But apart from that, I think that the advantages, they definitely outweigh the drawbacks.
Right, definitely. Now, last question for you. How would you describe Korea's running culture and fashion, such as the community and the gear that people wear?
Yes, well, for me, I was very surprised when I moved to Seoul. I used to run by myself in Paris. And I have to say as well that by the time I started running, it wasn't a trend like it is right now. People were wearing whatever they wanted to run. But in Korea, I discovered what it's like to have a crew. So I joined my crew No Rules, and I discovered what it's like to be part of a community and enjoy a hobby together. You meet people. I had the chance to meet amazing friends in my crew. And that's true that the fashion comes with it. People here in Korea, they definitely dress up to go for a run. Everything matches, from the running shoes to the t-shirt. And I think that's kind of fun. That's part of the fun of it. And I actually really enjoy putting, pretty things on me to go for a run. And yeah, I would say that's something that I grew to love here in Korea.
I mean, the purple does look really good on you. So I mean, it's clear that you are very passionate about running, and you run races across the world. Do you have any other races that you're looking forward to?
Yes, actually, I have 2 marathons coming up. I have Chicago Marathon. So in October, yeah, and I'm very excited. It's my first major marathon.
Wow.
So yes, I hope to collect them in the future, but that's the very first one that I'll run. And I'm running for the second time as well, the JTBC Marathon. So it's like 2 weeks apart, so I think it's going to be hard on me, but I'm training very hard right now.
You got this, you got this.
Good luck.
Well, yeah,
Good luck.
hope it goes well. And thank you so much for coming on and sharing your insights with us
My
today.
pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So hearing from an international runner, it gives us a great perspective on what makes Korea stand out as a running destination. So where are the best places to enjoy running in Korea, Kyun?
So wherever you are staying in Seoul, chances are there is a good running route nearby. So places like Yeouido, Jamsil, Tukseom, and Mangwon are among the city's best-known Hangang River parks, all offering well-maintained paths for runners, even during nighttime. So rather than just running indoors on a treadmill, visitors can simply just step out to the closest Han River Park and enjoy a run along the river, enjoying fresh air, open view, and of course like the landmarks as well. But for those who want to actually combine running with sightseeing, urban routes passing through Gwanghwamun Square, Dongdaemun Design Plaza, or DDP they call it, or Chonggak Station are also highly recommended. And like I mentioned before, they offer a great way to explore Seoul streets and major landmarks while getting a workout at the same time.
Right, so it sounds like runners don't have to travel far to find a great route, whether they prefer nature, city views, or landmarks. There really is something for every runner. And beyond choosing the right route, there's also a growing community helping people enjoy running together. And our Zoom guest just kind of mentioned that. So how can visitors join this running community here in Korea?
Right, so since the running has become very popular among the younger Gen Zs and the millennials, tons of different running communities and crews have been showing up. For example, there are events such as that's called open runs, where anyone can just join without having to sign up in advance. And there's also an event called guest runs, where you can bring or invite a friend to your running crew. So you guys should definitely give that a try if you guys are interested. There's also 7979 Seoul running crew, which is run by the city. It's called 7979 because 79 sounds like friend in Korean. So it's like 친구. And the second 79 is they run from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. So the friendly night hours. Even outside of Seoul, every other local governments operate their own running crews, making it very easy and accessible for anyone to try running within Korea.
Right, so that is one great way for visitors to connect with locals while experiencing Korea through running. But before heading out, there are a few things runners should keep in mind to enjoy the experience safely. So what should runners know before running in Korea? What's your advice as an avid runner yourself?
Safety comes first before anything. There have been civil complaints on runners running in groups, causing congestion in walkways and just increasing the danger of actually running into people who are actually walking in these pathways, including children.
Right.
So, keeping safety in mind at all times, especially when there are pedestrians and cars along the route you're running in, is key to enjoying running and getting the most out of traveling in Seoul. And I would like to just end off by saying, I said I enjoy just running alone, but after hearing from our interviewer why people enjoy running in groups, I think the fact that you have to, having that feeling of, I need to exercise to stay fit, healthy, and going to the gym or stepping outside your door to actually go for a run is the most difficult part. But if you have like a kind of a group meeting scheduled to run together in a group, you have to kind of have that obligation to step out of the door and be there on time. And once you get there, like running is like the easy part. Like getting out of the door, out of your house, getting all dressed up.
Getting ready.
Getting ready is the hardest part, I feel. But once you get through that, everything else is so fun. So I think having that kind of meeting gather-ups gives you that extra motivation to, stay fit and healthy. And I think gearing up, dressing well is also a part of socializing as well. So because you're in groups, you might want to dress to impress, and you might meet, new friends as well along the way. So I think running in groups, community, I'm all for it. But for now, I like running on my own because there are also perks and advantages of running alone.
Right, there are pros to both types. It depends on what works for you. So I think that's a really important point. Running is enjoyable, but being considerate of others is just as important, especially in busy areas. And in addition to being mindful of the surroundings, runners also need to prepare for Korea's very hot and sometimes quite humid summer weather. So how can runners stay safe during this weather?
Right, so it's kind of an extension of the safety part that you mentioned. I would say, like, if I had to say just one thing, I would say stay hydrated, drink water. Please drink enough water. If you don't drink enough water in this hot weather, consequences will be there. And it's very easy for people to not drink enough water when they're running because a lot of people feel like stomachache or feel uncomfortable when they drink water right before running or while they're running. A good tip is to take small sips rather than chugging the whole bottle at once. For the foreigner viewers in Korea, sometimes we have these free water refrigerators alongside some parks, and they also have some water dispensers. If you can't find any free access to water, we have many convenience stores or corner stores that sells water for a very cheap price. And also, I would highly recommend to avoid the daytime hours, probably from 11 a.m. to 4 to 5 p.m. I would definitely avoid those hours because it's way too sunny, way too much heat, way too much sun. Run in the morning or after the sunset to avoid the heat. It's very important to run on a cool weather. So everyone, let's have fun, let's run, enjoy the city, enjoy all the parks and the rivers, but let's do it safely.
Great advice. So Korea's running boom is showing that fitness and travel can go hand in hand. As more visitors lace up to explore the country, running is becoming another way to experience Korea beyond the usual tourist attractions. And that's what makes running tourism more than just another travel trend. And that brings us to the end of today's episode of News Generation. But News Gen will be back on Monday at 10:30 a.m. Korea time with more stories and discussions. Big thanks to Kyun.
I had so much fun today.
It was so fun talking to you about this, and also Wongi.
I had a lot of fun as well. Thank you.
And to our viewers, thank you so much for watching. If today's show inspired a scenic run this weekend, make sure the only thing running hot is your motivation. We are News Generation.